Previously on Bituminous Coal, I shared footage from a long western trip and took you to the trains in Colorado, at Moffett Tunnel, and at the Georgetown Loop. You may want to check out those videos later on, if you haven't already seen them. Hey, you may want to rewatch them. Who knows? I'm for it, either way. Today, I'll take you to Wyoming and Nebraska. In Wyoming to Laramie for trains shot from the footbridge over the yard tracks. To Hermosa, a dot on the map with huge rail action. On a chase between Cheyenne and Nebraska. And finally, to Bailey Yard in North Platte, looking over the massive 9-mile-long yard. Let's go back out west. Let's go to the trains. Oh yes, my vaunted luck. Here it is on full display. Union Pacific train goes by with a DPU. And of course I just arrived at the parking lot in Laramie, Wyoming, and the train is here, and I'm here. That's the way it goes, but it's a good sign for train traffic in general. Now what you see behind me, this is a footbridge that crosses over the yard and gives a great opportunity to be above. This area appears to be in a drone no-fly zone. So if that's the case, we'll still get up in the air by way of this footbridge behind us. So be able to see everything very nicely. In Laramie, getting a suntan and then some. However, first impression about Western railroading, and particularly the Union Pacific Intermodal train we're about to see, it's massive with loads of power. 4 units up front, 2 DPUs in the middle, and a salute to those of us standing on the bridge from the engineer. Very nice. I came from Indiana to shoot this. These container trains are looking very much like what we see out east. Many of the usual suspects: Hub Group, Pacer, Schneider, EMP, even CSX. It's kind of fun to see CSX out here out west. And then 2 DPUs right ahead of the refrigerated units. Oh, that was great. Just got back up on the bridge. I went to get my scanner and then dropped it and it broke. But got back up in time to catch that train. Nice long intermodal with 2 DPU units in there, which is really great because we don't get to see Armor Yellow out east. Not yet.
Well, I got the scanner working, so we got to hear that sound as the train approached. And sure enough, here comes a manifest train. Now, second impression for Western railroading, my gosh, is it windy out here. I thought it was windy back home in Indiana, and it is. But this is a different level for an average day. Nice sunshiny day, and this wind is whipping. With this massive string of hoppers, I was beginning to think I was looking at a unit train. Alas, the DPU then comes into picture, and we realize it's 2 trains cobbled together in the manner so commonly done today. And the second half of the train gives us some nice variety to look at. Bulkheads with interesting loads. These Western steel coil carriers are different than what we see in the East, and we are able to see Norfolk Southern and UPs side by side there. Very nice. Really interesting just to see minor differences in the construction of the cars. All right, 2 really nice trains to start us off here on this installment of Bituminous Coal. And one thing I want to show you, you can see behind the track there's an incline, and that ramp goes to the bridge, the footbridge over the tracks. Rail fans are on there, but a lot of people in the community use it just to get around the track. As I've said in other videos, I like communities that embrace the railroad. That bridge over top, the parking that's right there available for free, the proximity of city parks right there, and the city park that's built around the Union Pacific station. Now, you may have seen this station. One of the cams, I don't know if it's Virtual Rail Fan or which one it is, but has a cam at the Laramie station. But it's got a really great park with a static display. And this great arrangement of crossing gates. Well, I'll speak on that at some length.
Park in Laramie, Wyoming, with the nice static display. Now, this is landscaping befitting of the Casa de Bituminous. Yeah. Crossing gates in the front as a sort of archway. Yeah.
Who knew you'd get landscaping tips on today's show? I got to say, though, it's positively regal. I'd have it in a minute. Mrs. Bituminous, I'm not so sure. Well, at any rate, let's go back to the footbridge and look at some of the interesting maintenance of way and other stuff around the yard at Laramie. It was a bit of a pity I came on a weekend. I have the sense that a lot more goes on in this yard during the week, like this ironworks to the right in the jade green color. I'd love to know what that's used for. Looks like a crane or a hoist of some sort, but would love to see it in action. Impressive though it was. Now this I like. I like a company that has great pride in itself and puts its name in big, bold letters on things like bridges and smokestacks like this. And hey, a fallen flag, the Screaming Eagle right there, Missouri Pacific. And some of this MOW stuff also was lettered for the Missouri Pacific, such as this. And I have a little spiel that I did on site. We'll go to that.
I'm standing on the footbridge in Laramie over the yard, Union Pacific yard, and these are some interesting cars. They appear to have rails in the center of them, so you can transport other cars upon them. They're painted for, or lettered for MP, Missouri Pacific, and they have a maintenance of way designation. Hey, look, this bar, it makes it look like I'm at Wrigley Field. There, that's like Wrigley Field. Let's look at the other side. More maintenance of way. I think those are really cool cars. I'd love to see them in operation, see how that works. It's Mr. Cole in Laramie, Wyoming. It's windy.
Well, it was time to hit the road and make way towards Cheyenne, but I noticed on the map Hermosa, Wyoming, as an interesting place to shoot trains, and so I took the chance and stopped there. But if I thought I was going to avoid wind, oh, was I mistaken.
I'm in Hermosa, Wyoming, and it's windy, and in fact it was so windy that I had to put the drone back on the ground, and hopefully the wind will die down, because I've got a train that I shot in Laramie sitting back over there. You can see behind me. I'm sitting behind the signal tower waiting for clearance to proceed. Some maintenance of way vehicles just came through, and we did kind of sort of capture those. My static camera over here actually blew over as it was recording the maintenance of way vehicles going by. So it's challenging out here, but what's life without a few challenges, right? So yeah, I put the drone in the air, and I got a warning for high wind warning that it wouldn't be capable of landing on its own. It'd have to be manually landed, which is how I landed anyway, but it said immediate landing recommended. Okay, well, we don't want to lose the drone, so here we are, and here we wait, and it's windy.
Third observation, differences between the West and the East. In the East, if you want to chase a train, good luck if it's a high priority train. Something that's got a lot of clearances, going to get a lot of green signals. You're going to have a hard time because you're going to have traffic lights, you're going to have slow speeds that the railroad doesn't have to deal with. Out West, you can drive 80 miles an hour and you can go faster than the train and just open it up and get out ahead of it. And it was wonderful to catch this train again. Now this time as we look at it, we're going to see it from the other side from which we saw in Laramie. Yeah, ha ha ha, it's windy. The executive decision has been made to take the sound out. It's dreadful. It was so windy, and I didn't have my baffling equipment, the wind sock for the boom microphone, the shotgun microphone. Have all that now. Then, oof. So let's enjoy the train in silence. I was really taken with these loads when I saw them in Laramie, and I still am here. Like that bulkhead. I've never seen those compartments on a bulkhead flat car before. I find that fascinating. If somebody out there can tell me what that is, what is stored there, what is transported there, I would very much like to know. And then the steel, the coil cars there. Interesting stuff. Well, we bid farewell to this long manifest train, and I'm not going to chase it anymore on this particular night because the thing I'm chasing now is a steak at Cheyenne. So I pick up my gear and I hightail it to Cheyenne and have me a steak. Oh, yummy, yummy. Upon arrival into Cheyenne, you know right away this is Union Pacific town. The imposing Union Pacific station, the history that's in the plaza surrounding it is evident and everywhere. Even in the little details. Even in places that are not particularly of the railroad. And I enjoyed seeing this. A land surveyor. My father was a land surveyor. My brother is a land surveyor. I grew up in the business, so enjoyed seeing Grenville Dodge here doing some survey work.
Kind of a bummer. Bad planning on my part, though. Well, not this rain. That's not my... that I didn't plan for. I'm not in charge of that, you see. I'm in Cheyenne, and it's a foggy, rainy, dribbly kind of day, but it's a Sunday. And, I mean, very little is open. The train station, which is behind me, the magnificent Union Station, or Union Pacific Station. It's not a Union Station, it was Union Pacific, wasn't it? Well, it doesn't open for a few hours, and I'm going to North Platte today and to Bailey Yard. So I don't want to hang around here for hours and hours just in the hopes that something finally opens.
Well, time to make lemonade out of these lemons.
You watch trains from outside of the station as there's one parking lot area. Of course, that train that we're watching right now started at rest and the locomotives not visible because they were blocked by the station. So yeah, you can see trains. You still can't fly here. All of Cheyenne is a no-fly zone, so it's tough. Yeah, she's picking up speed. that was a truly massive train. Wow. Neat to catch that DPU in the middle. Well, it's off to North Platte.
With that example of precision scheduled railroading under our belt, it was kind of a lukewarm feeling. Like, yay, a train, but not being able to access the station, not being able to see the front end. Heck, I was hoping maybe I could get a peek at Big Boy somewhere. Well, none of that came to pass. No matter. Nice to see a long intermodal train like that, Intermodal Plus, with auto racks tacked onto the second half and more intermodal behind it. It was time to go to North Platte, the destination Bailey Yard. But we did see things along the way. If you want to make time, Interstate 80 in Wyoming is the place to do it. And in Nebraska. Ah, the good life.
Crazy, but I think I'm catching up to the train that I saw exiting Cheyenne. I'm headed on the interstate towards North Platte, and they may be headed on their interstate towards North Platte. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is the same train that I caught earlier. So let's see if I can find a spot before I get to Sydney, because Sydney is also a no-fly zone. But let's see if I can find a spot where I can get ahead of them and get off and get the bird in the air and shoot that train.
Well, Sydney was out, which was a shame because it was a way out and I felt very comfortable and confident. Yes, I can get there. However, you did see the 80-mile-an-hour speed limit. So I'm looking now at Kimball, Nebraska, as a place to get ahead of the train and set up shop and try to catch it. Kimball, Nebraska, made it by the seat of my pants and in the nick of time. Gotta love it. And now all of the locomotives can be identified. So we got that going for us.
Yeah, that was fantastic. The chase I didn't know I was going to participate in, undertake. That was great. That was in fact the same train that had left Cheyenne at the same time as I had. I'm in Kimball, Nebraska. The speed limit on the interstate is 80 miles an hour in places, which gives you ample opportunity to outrun the train. And that's what we did. We got here just in time. Funny enough, as my luck tends to go, there was a westbound intermodal that was just clearing this crossing as I arrived. So we didn't get that one, but that's okay. We got the one that I was chasing. The chase I didn't know I was going to engage in. So, hey, that was fun.
Well, I got to tell you, at this point, the 80-mile-an-hour speed limit is a lot of fun. And it gives the opportunity to gain on the train and surpass it. And you can see it because, hey, we're out west and the rail line generally runs parallel to the interstate. So I could really see I'm gaining on it. Hey, I've passed it. Hey, you know what? At Chappell, Nebraska, I bet I can catch it again. So that was on my mind to do.
Well, we've resumed our chase. Thought, what the heck? Off the highway, I saw these great grain facilities and thought that'd be a great place to stop. And there's some cool murals, railroad themed one behind me there. If I turn around this way, there's one for the Lincoln Highway, and welcome to Chappell or Chappell. I don't know how it's pronounced. Anyway, yet another no-fly zone, unbeknownst to me, because the sheriff's office is here. Those of you who fly know it's tricky. It's tricky when you're running around and on the spur of the moment you decide to make a stop and see if you can't catch something. We caught it with the static camera, which is all well and good, and a little bit with my iPhone here, but had to keep the bird down. So no worries, we're still on our way to North Platte and Bailey Yard and the observation tower there, the Golden Spike Tower. So we'll be there very soon.
But before heading directly to North Platte, I had to do a little area recon, and darn glad I did. Look at this. FEC 7558. It's a high hood GP9. And you want to talk vintage equipment. Built in 1955 for the Pennsylvania Railroad. Transferred on, of course, then to Penn Central and to Conrail. Did a little looking into it. First of all, FEC is not Florida East Coast in this case. It is Farmers Elevator Company. Why they would use the same reporting marks as someone else is beyond me. But there it is. Ex-Pennsylvania Railroad, Penn Central, Conrail. It's been here in Chappell since at least 1999, working the elevator, pulling hoppers in and out.
Well, I'm at Bailey Yard, and you don't have to work hard to see Armor Yellow. There are plenty of trains. It's about the 7th floor. They have an observation deck at Golden Spike Tower. There's a 7th floor and an 8th floor, and it is awfully windy up here. The 7th floor is open. The 8th floor is enclosed, but you get better pictures on the 7th floor where it's open because you don't have to contend with the glass. So it's quite a sight. We'll focus on some part of the yard, the engine facility behind me. Or I could actually just get out of this view and then put the real videos in here. There's a thought.
The Golden Spike Tower and Visitor Center. Quite the attraction for any rail fan. The Visitor Center had a lot of things that you would find that were typical of any railroad museum. However, Golden Spike was heavy on World War II era. So if that's your bag, you're really going to enjoy yourself there. Now, for me, it's all about the trains and getting up on the 7th floor of that observation tower. You can see how windy it is by looking at the flags. Because of this high level of wind, I really didn't fly very much. But when you're on the 7th floor, you can see a lot. You get in the air in the way I like to get. Without having to fly the drone necessarily. And I made the remark about all that armor yellow. Well, yeah, at any given time from being on the 7th floor, I could see, by my estimate, about 250 locomotives. Now, it didn't hurt that the locomotive facility is right there. Many, many locomotives on the tracks leading from the facility. Being that this was a Sunday, there was not an overly large amount of activity at the locomotive facility. However, it's a 24/7, 7-day-a-week operation, the railroad, and locomotives still need to be fueled and sanded, if nothing else. There may not be big overhauls happening or other heavy repairs going on a Sunday, but there was still activity, as you'll see later in the video. Union Pacific's Bailey Yard, North Platte, Nebraska. And this information is coming from a UP handout that they gave us there at the tower. The largest classification yard in the world, named to honor former UP President Ed Bailey. The yard covers 2,850 acres, reaching a total length of 9 miles. It's just astonishing. 18 receiving tracks, 16 departure tracks, handling 10,000 cars every 24 hours. 3,800 cars sorted daily in the yard's eastward and westward yards, the hump yards. 3,800 cars in the hump. My goodness. 166 bowl tracks. It's all about size. If everything in the west seems bigger, at Bailey Yard, it really is enormous. I can't use enough adjectives. Huge, gigantic, fill in the blank. One thing I noticed right away about Bailey, about thinking about precision scheduled railroading and the idea that humps are going away, being closed by Class 1 railroads. Well, not so here at Bailey. The hump is humping. I mean, car after car after car. That was a lot of fun to watch the yard in operation. I really found it satisfying to watch the hump in action. One car here, 3 cars there. Really just fascinating. I could watch this for hours. Now, of course, the hump is not what the buzz on the tower was about. What the buzz on the tower was about was, well, we've all been talking about it. With a yard this big, I guess it was inevitable that there would be some Norfolk Southern locomotives lashed up to Union Pacific locomotives, and here they are. And my gosh, the place was abuzz. I guess we have to catch those Norfolk Southern units whenever, wherever we can, while we have them. For what we're seeing here, well, before long, that could be Horseshoe Curve, or my backyard, Tipton, Elwood, Armour Yellow, street running. Because we know when UP merges, they don't compromise, they absorb. We are all Borg. Well, that horn got me out of my revelry. And look at this. Union Pacific 9036. Why, that's the train we were chasing before. Fantastic. It has entered the yard. Well, it's going to pass through the yard, I'm quite sure. On a passing track here. Fantastic. While I was enjoying seeing the train for a third time, I noticed that if I had just turned the angle, I would get a lot more action besides. So, my chase train is about to re-enter the frame, but look at all the other actions surrounding it. Incredible watching this. So much action.
Oh, you're not?
There goes my chase train. As it heads easterly, will it go to Chicago? Will it go to St. Louis, Kansas City? We don't know. Never got a train number on that one. But its time to go has come. And so now let's turn our attentions back to the engine facility, because there was activity there after all. Look at this specimen entering view. UPY 1472. I learned the Y designation means it's designated for yard service. UPY 1472, an EMD MP15AC. Ex-Southern Pacific, built in 1975, and it's been working Bailey Yard for many years now. What a collection of motive power at Bailey Yard. Well, it's about time to wrap up this installment of Bituminous Coal. I hope you enjoyed going out west with me, going to the trains in Wyoming and Nebraska. You know what's amazing? I still have all of my footage from Kansas City's Argentine yard. Haven't shown any of it yet, and I have lots of it. So maybe one day down the way. In any case, join me next time, and I'll take you, as always, to the trains!